had this idea in my head for a bracelet with just 18 gauge and 4mm beads. These are like the size of the head of a pin. And these are African turquoise, which is what they call online blue-green dyed jasper. But look how pretty they look. They look like regular turquoise to me. And jasper is such a pretty stone to start with. So anyway, let's do this. I don't know if this will work. I don't even know how much to take. So I'm just going to wing it and say, let's take about, be on the safe side, let's take a meter, 3 feet. And put the wire together like this so you can find where the middle is and make a loop. That'll be your starting point. And make it a little smaller. Twist it twice. 1, 2, and we're off. Let's see. Now put these together and stretch them out. Like so. Okay? Got it? Now, get your flat nose, your regular needle nose pliers, and we're going to grab these, put them close together, and we're going to go and make a sharp corner like that, and then we're going to grab them here and go make another sharp corner like that. And then we're going to grab them right here and go and make another sharp corner. You can tell there's a pattern forming here in case you haven't noticed. You even grab this one right here. Go bam. Right? So just keep doing that. Okay, we have about 8 inches here, so that should be good. We're making this kind of bigger than the average wrist because we're going to go around more than once, but you can make yours longer or shorter, totally up to you. Now, keep the ends as tight together as you can while you're doing this. Come down here and make another loop, this time with both of these. Again, you can wrap it around a pen or something if you like, or you can just, make it with your fingers like that. And this one we're just going to end by wrapping like this. And there's 2 ways you can end it. You can cut like 1 inch off or 2 centimeters off of each end and then make a pretty swirl, or you can scarf it. I'm going to do both just to show you. I mean, you can do 2 swirls because there's 2 strands, or you can scarf them both. I'm going to scarf this one here like this, which means I'm just wrapping it, pretending this is a face. I'm giving him a nice scarf, or her. I'm wrapping it around like this, around and around, until I'm happy with how far up the wraps come. And then I am cutting the end about halfway across and shoving the sharp end into that little bowl I made. You can do that with both of them. You can wrap them together to make the scarf. But I'm going to take this one and just show you your other option, which is, like I said, cut off about 1.5 inches, however big you want it, and just make a little tiny hook right there. Kind of wrap it like that. Carefully pinch it very carefully so you don't slip, so it starts to form like a spiral, and then grab it sideways and wrap, and you get this cool spiral on the end. And you can put it anywhere you want. You can like put it up over there, put it over here. I'm just going to keep it right here like that. Boom. Fun, right? Okay. Now what do we do with this thing? Now we get our 4mm beautiful African jasper, and oh, so pretty. Ooh. Now we want a really thin gauge. I'm using 28. You could do 24, 26, 28, 30, anywhere in there, that range would work. All right, again, I don't know how much I'm going to take. I just did this in my head. It's probably not even going to work. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to take about, we'll do a meter again, 3 feet. And, oh, I messed up. I wasn't supposed to close this top loop yet. All right, I'm gonna have to cut it off and do it over. At least I made this extra long, so hopefully it'll still work. But, let's see, can I do this anyway without cutting it off? I don't think so. Let's cut it off. Goodbye. Oh, so sad, but we needed to keep this open and I forgot. Okay, now take this, turn it. Now we're going to make these flat. So turn this way and lay them side by side and flatten them out like that. Voila. Okay? Yay. All right. So remember, when you're doing it, don't make that top loop yet. Go to this next part. All right, we have our 1 meter and we're going to wrap it around here a few times to anchor it. Okay. I'm not sure what we'll do with that end. We'll just push that aside. We'll cut off like that much. Maybe we'll make that a little baby spiral or something. But we only need this one really long part. Okay. Now we're going to wrap this around here and let's begin, I guess. Let's grab an African turquoise, thread it on. He's in, and put the African turquoise between the, I don't know, let's start it right there. That's a good place to start. And it looks kind of good right there. Let's wrap it right there. So I'm going to wrap it around. I went around this one side right here, and now I'm going to go around twice just to be sure. I'm not even sure how to do this. And now I'm going to wrap around. I'm wrapping it into this corner, and now I'm going to put another African turquoise on there. Okay, now I'm going to thread it around. And I'm going to go around twice because that, as always, locks the wire. I'm going to pull it kind of tight because I want these 2 strands to only stay as wide apart as the stone. So I'm going to pull it, wrap it around twice, pull it tight, and then I'm going to go around this one just to lock that in. I'm going to pull that a little tighter. And now I'm going to try to do my next African turquoise bead. Okay, and I'm going to wrap around this little corner twice. And then wrap around this little corner twice. So basically, I'm wrapping a stone in and then wrapping it without a stone, wrapping a stone, wrapping it without a stone, wrapping a stone, wrapping it without a stone. And I'm also trying to squeeze this to make sure it doesn't, because it keeps wanting to get wider and wider, and I want to keep it only as wide as the stones. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way down and see what comes out. So the reason I cut this off was so that I could separate these and wrap the thin wire through it faster, weave it faster, basically. It seems like it's not really making a difference, so I probably could have left that on there and just woven by pushing. No, it actually is a little bit easier to take the strand all the way down to the end and then wrap it through like that. But these don't, I also thought the corners would grab on and lock each part in place, and they're not really. It's all kind of random. But I'm just going to keep doing this because this is fun and these are looking cool, and I want to see how it ends up. Believe it or not, this is working really well. These are pretty evenly spaced. The corners are helping to grab the wire. I just needed to get into the rhythm of weaving, which is not something I often do. So you guys who are really good at weaving, you might find a even better way to do this if you're more painstakingly patient to get some cool weaves in here. But so far, I'm telling you, try this version, try your own version, whatever you do, this is fun and it's working. I can't wait to see when it's finished. Okay, I've gotten this far and I could keep going, but I need to use these last strands to make the loop at the end since I cut off the other loop. So I'm going to straighten them back out. 18 gauge is really easy to straighten back out, especially if you're not trying to make perfectly straight, beautiful wraps, if you're just trying to do something functional. So I'll straighten these guys back out and then we can make our end loop just like we did before. Okay, bring these together. Give this one last bend and make our loop. This time I'm going to wrap it around a pen to try to get it more round because I kind of got it all wonky by bending it back and forth. So I want to get it back into the shape of a nice loop. A nice loop, a very nice loop. All right, now I don't need it that big. So I'm going to roll, oh, and I have just enough to do what I need to do. And take this end and wrap it. We're not going to have enough room to get that nice scarf like before, but you will, because you won't have made the mistake I'd made of making the loop too soon and then cutting it off. You'll do yours at the end, so you can refer back to that really pretty one I did. And this one, I'm just going to wrap it enough to lock it in so that stays put. Just hide that sharp end right in there. Tuck it right in there. There we go. That's tucked. That's good. And I'm not even going to try to make the curly key with this, with what's left. I'm going to tuck this one too, because I don't like how easily that sharp end could come out now that I didn't have as much room. So I'm going to tuck this one in the same spot, and that's going to give it an extra little bit of coverage. If both those strands are tucked in there, they kind of hold each other in better, so one doesn't come out. All right, let's make this into a prettier loop. Okay, now we just have our thin strand here left, and that you can also make into a spiral. You can just, wrap it and tuck it in, but I don't trust teeny tiny thin wire unless I can tuck it really well, because I just feel like it's going to come out one day and scratch someone, even if it's 5 years from now. I don't trust it, so I like to make it into a baby spiral like this, same as I did with the other one, just much smaller and tighter and cuter. And it looks tedious, but it's actually very fun. It's very fun to make this little swirl, little baby swirl, little baby swirl. And I don't want that to ever come undone, so I'm actually going to take a tiny bit of super glue and just stick it right there. Super glue is safe. It was actually originally made as a medical glue to glue wounds together, so you don't want to get it on your skin. It will glue your skin together, but you can use it in jewelry. It's safe after it dries. Get the kind with the green cap. That's gel, so it doesn't run all over the place. It's easier to control. And just lift up that little swirl we just made and just put the tiniest little drop right there on the swirl, and then just pinch it down. Try not to get on your fingers. Close it up right away so it doesn't keep running out. And leave that for about 5 minutes, and that should be good. Now, this end, we'll just do the same thing here. Give it a few wraps to end it. And cut off. This time we'll cut off a little bit more, make a little bit more sizable swirl so that we can get the glue to hold it better. Now, with this one, I'm going to tuck this right into the scarf. I'm going to wrap it around like this. I'm going to make a little spiral to tuck it into the scarf because spirals hold it better than just this tiny little end. But I'm going to show you that's 2 ways to do it. Still going to add my crazy super glue because I don't trust this thin little wire not to pop out someday, but I'm just going to roll it up like that and jam it right in there. Just jam it in there. Put the super glue in there. Bam. Rub it with a little piece of plastic or a tissue or something. Make sure you squeeze out the extra, because then it'll dry much faster. You don't want it to be still sticky and then you accidentally touch it later. Ugh, it's on your fingers now. Okay. This cool guy now is ready to be turned into a bracelet. Just gently. And this could be done with, this is 18 gauge. This could have been done with 16 gauge too. Now remember, a wrist is an oval. It's not exactly a round circle. It's more of an oval. But there we go. I like that. That will hold on a wrist just by the tension, but we'll also put a little clasp here. In fact, let me show you a trick. Take this one loop and we'll pinch it like this carefully. You got to pinch it carefully that you don't slip. Make a really long skinny loop with it. Right? See that? Now we'll bend it up right here and bend it over like that. And now we have a hook. Get this camera to focus. Bam. Oh, bend it forward a little more. Got to play with it. Make your hook work just right. Poof. Ta-da! And now we can smooth it out more, make it more the shape of a wrist. Now you can also, what I'm going to do is put a lobster clasp on the end here and some jump rings to make it adjustable. So I'm not just going to have it like this. I'm also going to have, you can just add jump rings and have this hook on the jump rings, but then you got to trust the tension will hold it on their wrist and they'll clasp it right. If you want to be really safe, get yourself one of these babies and then some jump rings, and then it'll never fall off the wrist unless they have a wrestling match with Godzilla. Then all bets are off. There we go. Now, I must mention that these guys, now that I'm finished, I like them. I like how they look. They're a little bit more wobbly and flimsy than I would like. I would use, instead of 28 gauge, I'd use 24 next time, and I might even do a little extra fancy wrapping around to lock each one in. So even 22 gauge. So letting you guys know, if you've come to the end and you're deciding to do this, I would do this outer part in 16 gauge and the inner part in 24 or 22 gauge. That's what I suggest. But other than this, I really like how it came out. I think it's cute, and I definitely think someone could wear it and enjoy it. And as long as they don't get in any, not even Godzilla, I think if they got in any kind of bar fight, they would probably have some issues with this. So, you know, don't let your daughters get into bar fights. That's all I can say. Or your sons or anyone else. All right, see you later.